Today is International Safe Abortion Day. The day is used to raise awareness on safe abortion services and to advocate for sexual and reproductive health rights. The global theme for this year is Unstoppable Movement, building solidarity and justice for the right to safe abortion, with a sub-theme, Young People's Leadership in Abortion Justice. Let's find out more now from Tshego Bessenaar, Vice President of Africa Programs at Ibis Reproductive Health. Tshego, thank you very much for your time here on ENCA. Now, in South Africa, this is a very important topic, right? Not only because of the main topic being safe abortions, but the fact that with teenage pregnancies, some of the teenagers are so scared to go to a normal hospital that they use a backdoor service.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Masefo, for having me. And I think really thank you also for making a platform to make sure that this day is actually emphasized and highlighted. Indeed, the day is to commemorate Safe Abortion Day, a very important topic, because we do find that safe abortion is very much still stigmatized, particularly in the African region, and yet is a basic healthcare, need for millions of those who need it around the world. And indeed, in South Africa, where we have a liberal law around abortion care, we still find that there's lots of limitations for women and young girls in particular to access abortion care. And to your question, yes, indeed, we are in a country where we have high rates of teen pregnancy, and we find that young people are, that sexuality to begin with is stigmatized. So the minute they access, facilities, they're judged, just as they present there. So you can imagine with the high rates of teen pregnancy and then the need to really make available safe legal abortion services, then we block all opportunities for them to actually have the service and be able to make that decision and have the service that is provided in a very dignified manner as well, because there's a lot of those who do have the courage to go to facilities, but unfortunately very often are not serviced with dignity and justice that they do deserve.
And, what about the gynecologists? Those are specialists that are very important allies, right, in the fight for safe abortions?
Yes, that's very important. And I think one thing that, this particular day has been highlighting over the years is to really appreciate, the level of importance of abortion providers in particular, and really making sure that they're also supported in delivery of the service. So we find that particularly in our public care facilities, we work with lots of public health givers, particularly, in reproductive health broadly, and of course, specifically in and we find that when we engage with providers of abortion in particular, they face such huge challenges from stigma within their own facilities, So you can imagine in providing the service, they're also limited in terms of how far they can go. So that is why this day is so important, to not only emphasize access to safe abortion services, but also emphasize the need to really support our providers and to create environments in facilities where they feel supported, because they're just doing their job. Imagine, waking up to do your job every day and you face so many barriers that you can't even deliver that. So they're indeed very, very, very important. And as Ibis this year, we actually have an award that we're going to be announcing, tomorrow, to 2 abortion providers who have really been holding the service in terms of training providers, in terms of service delivery in our public hospitals, because we really want to make sure that it's understood just how important they are to making sure that service is available and easily accessible. So indeed, they're very important to the movement.
And obviously, for me at least, I think, a safe abortion is something that should be an obvious right? Because it actually stops mortality, during the process of getting the abortion. So isn't it better to make sure that people have access to safe abortion so that we don't have a lot of mothers dying?
Indeed. Oh my God, indeed. Like, you could have not said it better. Indeed. And I think this is why it's so important that having a safe abortion and having that provided is not a favor. It's not somebody being made a favor. It's, it's a basic reproductive right. And reproductive rights are human rights. And so it's very important that we look at abortion as part of our holistic, comprehensive, integrated sexual and reproductive health services. So it shouldn't be something that, anybody who needs it walk into a facility feeling like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to be judged. So you nailed it. It's a basic right, and we need to start really making sure that we emphasize that beyond anything else.
Just lastly and very quickly, Tshego, for me, I also think, and you alluded to it a little bit earlier, it mostly affects those in vulnerable situations, you know what I mean? For instance, backgrounds that are disadvantaged, or even those who probably fell pregnant rather because of rape, which also has its own shame and stigma.
Indeed, indeed. I mean, there's so many intersecting, sort of realities that those who need abortion have to deal with. You spoke about teen pregnancy earlier. Yes, indeed. And that is why in our country, the consent age for termination of pregnancy is 12, because we do realize that, we have young people who fall pregnant as young as that. And again, under different circumstances. We are a country that is unfortunately leading in terms of femicides and gender-based violence. And we have a significant number of people, or women and girls in particular, who have pregnancies from those realities. And so it's very important to really appreciate the different lived realities of people who need abortion, and not take so much time investing in judgment, because, we need to first appreciate that is that decision, is that reality. So how can I help you should be our approach, and not why are you doing it.
All right, Tshego, thank you so much for your time. Tshego Bessenaar, Vice President of Africa Programs at Ibis Reproductive Health.